A woman will never approach you and announce, "I've decided I want you. Do something about it before I reconsider." That is not how female communication works. Instead of making bold declarations, women often express interest through nonverbal behaviors that reveal openness and invite interaction. These signals are not necessarily intentional or manipulative. Rather, they are part of the natural ways women have communicated interest and attraction long before spoken language became the primary form of expression. One reason many men struggle to understand attraction is that they are too focused on planning what to say or trying to make the perfect impression. While they are concentrating on their next sentence, they may miss the silent conversation taking place through body language. Research has found that women frequently display several signs of attraction before men notice even one of them. By the time a man begins wondering whether she likes him, she may have already expressed her attraction multiple times through her posture, gestures, and movements. Among the many forms of nonverbal communication, hand movements can be especially revealing. Unlike facial expressions or tone of voice, which women often consciously control, the hands tend to react more naturally and spontaneously. Today, I'm breaking down 8 hand gestures that reveal when a woman has decided she's attracted to you, 8 physical signals that most men walk right past without a clue. Stay with me until the end, because that 8th one is the most critical, and it is the one that separates men who capitalize on attraction from men who go home wondering what went wrong. Before we continue, we would love to hear from you. Where are you watching from today? Share your city or country in the comments below. It is always fascinating to see how far this message reaches around the world. Now let us get started. Signal 1, the hair touch with dissent. One of the earliest signs of attraction is something many women do without even knowing it. When a woman is attracted to you, her hand often drifts toward her hair. But it is not simply about fixing a loose strand. The real clue lies in what happens afterward. She may brush her hair back from her face or tuck it behind her ear, then slowly let her hand glide down to her neck or collarbone. That slow, lingering movement is what makes the gesture meaningful. Someone who is merely adjusting their hairstyle will make the correction and move on. A woman who feels attracted, however, often allows her hand to pause, extending the motion almost instinctively. This behavior naturally draws attention to the neck, one of the body's most delicate and exposed areas. In behavioral psychology, voluntarily exposing the neck is often associated with comfort, trust, and a lowered sense of defensiveness. Without saying a word, she may be communicating that she feels relaxed and receptive around you. Dr. Monica Moore of Webster University spent thousands of hours observing social interactions and found that hair touching accompanied by neck exposure consistently ranked among the strongest nonverbal behaviors linked to romantic attraction. So if you notice a woman repeatedly brushing her hair aside before letting her fingers drift toward her neck, it may be more than a nervous habit. It can be a way of expressing attraction. If those signs go unnoticed and the conversation remains completely detached or impersonal, she may assume the connection is not mutual. Often, she will gradually pull back emotionally without making it obvious. Opportunities like these rarely disappear dramatically, they simply fade away. Signal 2, redirecting touch to nearby objects. This signal is easy to miss because it appears completely ordinary. Imagine a woman gently tracing the rim of her coffee mug, running her fingertips along the stem of a wine glass, absent-mindedly playing with a menu, or sliding her fingers across the strap of her purse. These small actions may represent what psychologists refer to as tactile displacement. Rather than expressing physical attraction directly, she unconsciously channels that urge into an object within reach. In other words, the desire for physical closeness finds a harmless outlet when social expectations make direct touch feel too soon. Research from the University of Manchester has found that these kinds of displacement behaviors become significantly more common when women are interacting with someone they find attractive. To an outside observer, it might simply look like fidgeting. But in many situations, those repetitive, gentle motions reflect excitement, anticipation, or nervous attraction rather than boredom. The object itself is not important. It is simply serving as a substitute until physical contact feels appropriate. Signal 3, initiating arm contact. When a woman intentionally touches your arm during conversation, the interaction has often reached a new level of comfort. Touch requires crossing personal boundaries, making it one of the clearest forms of nonverbal communication. If she lightly rests her hand on your forearm while laughing, brushes your shoulder to emphasize a story, or briefly makes contact during conversation, those moments are often deliberate rather than accidental. Beyond expressing interest, she's also observing your reaction. Do you seem comfortable? Do you respond warmly? Do you return the same level of engagement? Your response helps her decide whether continuing to build closeness feels welcome. Research published in Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin has shown that light, appropriate touch during conversation can increase feelings of warmth and perceived attractiveness between people. Because of this, gentle physical contact serves two purposes: it communicates attraction while also helping create a stronger emotional connection. If she initiates touch more than once, she is likely becoming increasingly comfortable around you. If those attempts consistently receive little acknowledgement, she may eventually assume the attraction is not shared and begin investing less emotionally in the interaction. Signal 4, showing open palms. When a woman gestures with open palms, rests her hands comfortably with her palms facing upward, or naturally presents something palm up, she's often displaying a subconscious signal of openness. By contrast, tightly closed fists, hidden hands, crossed arms, or keeping the hands out of sight can sometimes reflect caution, discomfort, or emotional reserve. Open palms have long been associated with trust and peaceful intentions. Evolutionary psychologists found that showing empty hands historically demonstrated that a person carried no weapon, making the gesture an ancient symbol of safety and cooperation. Today, that same instinct continues to influence human interaction. When she speaks with expressive, open-handed gestures, she may simply be revealing that she feels comfortable, engaged, and emotionally comfortable in your presence. What is especially interesting is that most men aren't consciously aware they're doing this. Rather than intentionally displaying their palms, their body naturally adopts a more open posture as feelings of trust and connection increase. Because these behaviors typically occur automatically, they are often viewed as more authentic than gestures someone deliberately tries to perform. Signal 5, finger-gaze contact. If a woman intentionally creates an opportunity to touch your hand, perhaps by comparing hand sizes, pretending to read your palm, or allowing her fingers to brush yours while passing an object, there's a good chance she's expressing genuine interest. Hand-to-hand contact is one of the most personal forms of touch that can occur outside of a romantic relationship. Because the hands contain a large number of sensitive nerve endings, even brief contact can feel surprisingly meaningful. When your fingers meet, the moment often creates a subtle sense of closeness for both people. That small connection can make the interaction feel more personal and emotionally engaging. Many men unintentionally interrupt that moment by pulling away immediately. Instead of allowing the connection to linger naturally, they react with hesitation, causing the interaction to lose some of its momentum. Remaining relaxed and comfortable during that brief contact can communicate confidence and ease. It suggests that you're comfortable with appropriate physical closeness, something that many people find reassuring and attractive. Signal 6, wrist exposure. The inside of the wrist is one of the body's more delicate areas, where the skin is thin and veins are easily visible. Because of this, exposing it has long been associated with openness and trust. If a woman rests her arms so that her wrists face upward, adjusts her bracelet while leaving her wrist visible, or props her chin on her hand with her wrist naturally turned toward you, she may simply feel relaxed and comfortable in your presence. Researchers who study body language, including Dr. David Givens of the Center for Nonverbal Studies, have discussed wrist exposure as one of several behaviors that can accompany feelings of trust or romantic attraction. If you notice this behavior, it is best understood as a sign that she feels safe and comfortable during the interaction rather than as a guarantee of attraction. Signal 7, the mirrored touch response. One of the clearest signs of mutual comfort is when someone naturally mirrors your behavior. Suppose you lightly touch her forearm while making a point, and a short time later she responds with a similar touch. Or perhaps you briefly touch her shoulder as you walk together, and instead of moving away, she leans comfortably into the interaction. This type of mirroring often reflects rapport and shared engagement. Studies of nonverbal communication have consistently found that people tend to imitate the gestures and movements of those they feel connected to. When physical touch is mirrored appropriately, it can suggest that both people are comfortable with the developing connection. Rather than relying on guesswork, paying attention to whether your actions are warmly reciprocated provides a much clearer picture of how the interaction is unfolding. Signal 8. Prolonged hand placement. If a woman places her hand on your arm, shoulder, knee, chest, or back and allows it to remain there for several moments, she's showing a level of comfort that goes beyond a brief or accidental touch. Short contact can happen casually during conversation. Sustained contact, however, usually reflects a conscious willingness to remain physically connected. By maintaining that touch, she's demonstrating that she feels comfortable sharing personal space and enjoys the closeness of the interaction. Still, body language should always be interpreted as part of a broader context. No single gesture can confirm romantic interest on its own, but several consistent signals appearing together can paint a clearer picture. Someone who repeatedly expresses warmth, attention, or openness without receiving similar energy may gradually become less engaged. Their posture may become more reserved, conversation may lose its enthusiasm, or their attention may shift elsewhere. This change often happens quietly rather than dramatically. That's why successful interactions usually depend on mutual participation. Responding with genuine interest, attentive conversation, and respectful reciprocity helps maintain the connection as it naturally develops.